Okay. This is how it comes in a box. This is another video I've been kicking around, delaying doing. This barn is such a mess. So much work to do. That's for another video as well. All right, let's set this up so we can see what it looks like. All right. It's heavy, man. Oh, it is a bit heavy. Who doesn't like to see me struggle? This thing's heavy, man. Punch through there. All right, power cable. This one's supposed to run off of 110 instruction manual. These are all the collets for accept all the different taps. Nuts and bolts. A tie wrap, a long tie wrap. I think that was supposed to be attached. All right, this must be the foot for attaching it to the table. And the rest of it is all, I think, in one piece. This thing's beefy. It is not light duty. This thing is pretty beefy. Pretty beefy. Even the stand is like 10 pounds. It's not plastic or anything like that. It's pretty beefy. I am not sure where I'm going to mount this yet, so I'm probably just going to put it on a big ass board. And actually, nice. Okay, yeah, it's looks pretty good. I mean, it's not, it doesn't seem cheaply built. It's got a power button here. All right, we're gonna get a closer up view here. Okay, so we've got the selection here of your troubleshooting for alarms, power button. Maybe you can put a cap on here. Probably comes in the kit that I'm not looking at. Yeah, it looks like you can put a cap on there maybe to keep it from popping off. Your bits go in here. You can rotate the head. Who knows how accurate that is? I think that's what this is. Spring-loaded adjustment. Feels like another one on the back side. Double rams which helps keep it up pretty good. It's pretty easy to handle. I think it's a little strange that the wire goes around this side though, because you're pinching it down on the wire a lot of times. Yeah, it kind of pinches the wire, so maybe I might figure out how to route that around the back side, or maybe just spin it around, huh? Let's see. Give it the old spin. Does that help it? Actually, yeah, I think that's probably better. It's not pinching the hose now. See, it does hit the arm though. If you've got this thing at a 90 degree here, it hits the arm and slides down along the arm. So if you really want to get down to your surface, you kind of need to have it at least a 90 degree out or farther. All right, and then I don't have power to this barn yet, so we're actually going to power this thing with a little power supply. Not exactly the most powerful device. We're going to see how it does. I think this thing's 600 watts. I think this thing puts out just at 600 or 700 watts, so we'll see what happens here. Dr. Chong, Intelligent Expert System. Excellent. Probably made in Italy. Still booting up. What are we pulling here? 7 watts. Not a lot. I guess it's still booting up. I feel like I've got the gist. Okay. Work on the screen here. Let's see. Bring it in here for some adjustments. Okay, I imagine it's just touchscreen. There's getting a terrible reflection from the lights. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay. Tightening machine, tapping machine. I'm not sure what a tightening machine is. Let's look at that. Bolt material, customize, rollback. Tightening machine. Tightening process. User parameters. Torque? You can use this as a torque wrench? I saw nothing indicating that you could use this as a torque wrench of sorts. Yeah, how do we go back? Wow, okay. Well, if that actually works, that could be pretty cool if you had a lot of stuff to do, and I do not see a button to go back. I don't think this is kind of a swiping type of thing. The touchscreen works really good. Okay, there we go. Tapping machine. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna go see what bits I feel like breaking today. I'll be back. Alright, we're gonna start with this. And you're gonna go through the painful process with me of figuring out how to mount this without using the instructions whatsoever. So it looks like it has a couple. These are all nicely oiled in these bags. I'll just bust them all out so they can get nice and rusty. Alright, some of them are marked with sizes. I guess they have a range of sizes, or maybe only a specific size. I got the ISO one. I've heard other people say they got the JIS, but I feel like ISO is probably just fine. So this M14. All right, that's a good size one. M16, we're just going bigger here. M12, M10, M6 to M8, M3, M4, M5. Yeah, I don't know exactly what this means, because generally all my taps have this same like 1/4 inch size end on it, unless you go up to a certain let's see. Huh, it just grabs it. All right, it pulls. Oh god, is this forever in here now? How do I undo this? Oh, so it's kind of like a, what do you call that fitting? You loosen that, and you can see in the end it is square, so it does grab that square. It's not quite the same. It's not quite the same. I'll have to measure that and see what we get. They don't all have that. Some have different sizes. Interesting. But it just grabs it. You just push it in and it just grabs it. You push it up in there. Actually, when you seat it in there, it's pretty good. It does shift a little bit. And then I'm assuming this fitting just fits right up into here. There is a keyway, so I assume you find the keyway it slides into. Yeah, and it just slides in and out. Man, that's really pretty easy and slick. I'm using this M6 bit because I've got quite a few extras, and so if I break one, it's not gonna put me out of business. Now I'm gonna go prep a piece of metal, cut a bunch of holes. Alright, well that took like way longer than I thought. The drill press is not set up yet, so just had to drill these by hand. I'm gonna tap this aluminum. Got some M6 and some M12s. I could do a whole bunch more, and I probably will later, but for now it's really a pain drilling this just by hand. And you're probably thinking, oh, aluminum, come on, that's got to be the easiest thing to tap. But this is mic 6. It's pretty hard, pretty gummy. It's not your typical like 6061 or like a pretty easy to get through aluminum. This one's a little bit tougher. I've broken bits on this. I've had issues with the milling machine with it. You got to have just the right speeds and feeds. So it's actually a little bit temperamental. And since you guys are still crying about it being on aluminum, we're gonna do some steel too. Just got like some 1/2 inch steel bar. We'll do the same holes, M6, M12, see how it does. These are kind of some of the sizes that I do more often. I'll do some smaller sizes, which is probably the size that's going to break some bits. M3, M4, M5. Just doing those by hand, it's super easy to break those bits, so I'm not super excited about using this thing for that. But we'll see if you set it up, if it kind of protects it or what it does. So we're going to do some manual threads on this to begin with. So to begin with, we're gonna go, we already got an M6. It is a 1 pitch feed speed. I have no idea. I think there's some suggestions somewhere. There wasn't any in the manual. It pre-fills these with some suggestions, but I'm not sure. Torque protection, probably a great idea, but I don't know how to use it. Workpiece count, we're not doing automatic, so it doesn't really matter. Smart test, I like that. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is really not in the instructions. So we're just gonna set it up and see what happens here. One thing I am really curious about is like you can see that's not straight, but it's, yeah, it's not really in line with the arm. I don't know. So I'm curious to see how this does when it's not exactly lined up. Are you just gonna put the pressure on the bit and snap it, or is it gonna, yeah, probably. So I'm tempted just to leave the head loose a little bit just to see how it does. Let's try it in the air. All right, while you're going, it gives you the speed and torque, tells you which direction. It's pretty good, actually. All right, I guess once you use this thing a lot, you might know exactly what it's going to do by those readings. Okay, I've got it set up for tap in M6, and I just want to do it in manual to begin with. And I didn't exactly strap this down because I'm not sure how straight my holes are. All right, I got it there. I'm gonna drive it in there, see what she do. Well, that just like cut like butter, man. Like, it didn't even think about slowing down. Try M6 bolt on here. I use that bit too because that bit is actually kind of old. It doesn't cut very good, so I didn't really care if I break it. But I thought it would be good for testing out. All right, let's try one on automatic. Automatic, M6/1, feed speed 100. We're gonna go a depth. It's set at 25 millimeters an inch, huh? So we're gonna go, this thing is 19 millimeters thick, 3/4 inch. So let's just take it down 12 and back out. In real life. All right, give it a go. I don't even actually have to hold it for automatic, huh? That is pretty good. Let's see. I mean, it's just a tap. It's not like a... Man, that is great. That just does it like nothing. That is fantastic. Well, let's see. We're changing out the bit. It's super easy. I'll just leave that one in there because it fits. Now I just have to find one that fits my... That is 3/8. Somewhere I have a 12. All right, here's a 12. And this is dry. I didn't add any coolant or anything. I have some mineral oil handy. I'll try that on this one. But this one says M10. This one says M12. So it's not going to fit. All right, I found a different M12. They look like pretty close. I don't know what the difference is. I don't know at what point I bought them, but this one seems to barely fit in there. It grabs it really snugly. It hits that fitting. Yeah, this one seems to fit perfectly. Find the slot part. And it locks in. Pretty easy. So I'm just going to update the setting on here. We're going to tell it M12. Well, it looks like here this is where you could switch it to Imperial. M12 1.75. I am not sure if that's what I have. Should be fine. So for the automatic, you could just tell it the depth. I could try 12 again. I'm a little bit afraid of going automatic. This is a big cut. All right, I'm just gonna go for it automatic, 12 millimeters deep, see what happens here. I doubt it's gonna break this bit. I'll put a little bit of lubricant on here, but it's not really even good lubricant. It's a mineral oil, I believe. So let's see what happens here. Okay. All right. So the lesson we learn here it's got some torque. It's got some impressive torque, man. It whacked my battery pack out of the way. It threaded it just fine. I mean, normally I would have this totally bolted down, but I just wanted to see how it would work on this. I'm gonna give it another go. Hold it a little tighter. Yeah, I wasn't really holding it that tight. And the thread looks great. But yeah, this thing's got some torque. I should have known that was going to spin. I just was really lazy about holding it. All right, let's try this one from scratch. See if we get the same kick off this bad boy. Okay, it's got a bite. It's not insane. Look how easy that was. How's it M12? I mean, just about like a ½ inch. It's on aluminum, so like I said before, it's not super tough metal, but also this is not just regular super thin aluminum. It's 3/4 inch thick, and it's mic 6, so it's a bit more rigid, a bit more gummy of a metal. That did pretty good with the aluminum. Nice, nice. Next up, metal. This is the one that's probably gonna smack me around. So we're gonna, but once you've got your bits set up, it's really easy. You just lift it up and it pops right out. You got it set in there. You can pop it out if you want, or if it's something you use all the time, just leave it assembled. And now I just go back to my 6mm. Good to go. Let's switch the touchscreen back, and the touchscreen is really responsive. All right, I don't think I'm going to do auto. I think I'm going to do manual this time and just see how it goes. I'll get a little bit of oil on there, just from what I've dropped. Let's see what we get. Okay, this is just regular carbon steel, nothing special. And see what happens here. M6, we'll try and go about, this is not quite ½ inch thick. It's like 7/16 or something. Let's see. Well, Well, that just threaded into that like nothing. Like seriously, that was so easy. I'm a little bit afraid to do this without having a clamp down. I think we're just going to brace it up against this other wood. Yeah, that was super simple. Great thread. It didn't even bog down. The thing that's kind of nice, that I'm sure that if you learn this a little bit while you're doing it, it shows how much torque it's taking to do it. So I imagine if you were doing, and it shows the depth that you've gotten it to. So if you were familiar with the torque value on here of where it started binding or getting tough, I'm sure you could get a feel for it. All right, I'm a little bit afraid of this one, but I'm gonna try the M12 on this steel. This is gonna be a little sketchy, and this thing isn't clamped down to the table. So this could get real sketchy. I'll put a little bit of lube on it, but I'm not sure if that helps too terribly much with what I'm using. All right, let's give it a go. All right, I'm doing it manual this time so I can stop it if I want. Wow, it's wanting to kick. Okay, it had bottomed out. It had gotten all the way down to the wood, and that's why it was pushing its way back. Yeah, that cut through there and went down to the wood and was pushing off like it was nothing. I'm like super impressed with this thing. It's beefy. It doesn't seem cheaply built. Everything seems really good. The touchscreen is really responsive. It's got a ton of parameters in here, and I haven't even messed with any of them. Okay, if you stayed watching up to this point, you were a real trooper. Actually, you should probably be doing something else. But if you're still here, here's the summary. I've been watching these devices for a few years now. They had been around $2,000, came down around $1,500 or so, and it seemed like they stayed there for a long time. Well, now I was able to get this one for under $700 on eBay. It was delivered to my house in 2 days. Yeah, super fast. Seriously though, I thought it was going to come from Dr. Chong himself on the mainland, take a few weeks, but it actually came really fast. It seems to work really awesome. Uses just household 120 volt AC. If you were to purchase the one on AliExcrete, those ones are mostly like 220 volt, at least that I've seen. And apparently this can be used as a torque wrench of sorts. It's pretty interesting, but I'm not sure how useful. Sorry this video was so off the cuff, super boring, except for when I almost got whacked in the jewels. I plan on going completely through the menus and making a manual of sorts, since the one included from Dr. Chong didn't really show too much. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll respond when I can. Alright, thanks for watching.